I say, how are you doing today? How are you doing today? I am your host, Lacey G. Soldier Turner. And today we have a very special guest, man. Look, man, this guy right here, he done starred in a dozen and dozens and dozens and dozens of primetime shows, feature films, such as like Behind Enemy Lines. He was in Fresh. Y'all know the TV show The Game, Law and Order, Empire, Blue Bloods, man. The list goes on and on. He was nominated for an NAACP Image Awards, man. Listen, y'all already know who I got on here, man. Come on, if y'all don't know, y'all gonna know up in this, because listen, he just been doing so many great things, so many great things. So to the platform, I want to welcome the amazing, wonderful, talented Charles Malik Whitfield. Welcome to the platform.
What's up, brother? How are you, Lacey? I'm so grateful and I'm thankful to be here with you.
All right, man. Thank you. Thank you, man. I appreciate you. I know you're a busy man, so I want to give my audience who don't know about you, I want to walk them down a little bit. So, can you tell the people, let the people know, where were you born and raised at?
I was born in the Bronx, in New York City, raised up in the Bronx. So thankful for my upbringings, the highs and the lows.
So let me ask you this. I saw that you said you came up, in your journey. It said that you was capable of selling drugs at a young age, and that you made your first $1 million when you was 14 years old. So first off, is that true? And how did you get into selling drugs at a young age?
It is true. So, well, how did I get into it? I think that, I went through a process of one, being around my family and knowing how hard and educated my parents were, but also knowing that being in a middle class family, they were always busy working, which working early in the morning all the way late to the evening actually kind of left me by my own devices as well as my sisters. So along the way, growing up in those times, there's not many people that you don't know growing up in the cities because we're kids that are outside.
Right.
When it's hot, no one's inside. Everyone's out, on the
Right.
block.
Yeah.
You travel from block to block. So as a young kid looking to create an escapism of what to do with myself and keep myself busy, you travel from blocks to blocks to play football, stickball, anything you can to wear yourself out and enjoy yourself. Or if it's too hot in the summer, just opening up a fire hydrant. Well, that
Yes.
is
I
that is our
remember that.
Disney escape,
Yeah.
scraping cans off the concrete because we didn't have a can opener
Right.
until we wore it down enough. So that was our man-made hose.
Yeah, lying. Hey,
So
I remember the fire people. They used to turn it off soon as they left. We cut it right back on.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And then also growing up in the Bronx, the home of hip hop, the birthplace, knowing so many people, and them being so kind to me, such as Melly Mel, so many of these other artists, all over from KRS, watching, running, trying to get to the to the little schoolyard mixes it
Yeah.
late at night and somebody shooting it up as a young kid because
Yeah.
this was where we got the pulse of all of this energy
Yeah.
going on. So at an early age, I have an older sister who is really a godsend to me. All of my sisters are. I have three sisters, three wonderful sisters, but our oldest one is a lot older than us, and so all the guys who liked her, she's a very pretty still is a very beautiful woman. Um, you know, all the guys that liked her, they were not only in the life, they was about the life, but also because my parents thought if she kept me around, and had to be responsible for me, well, that would kind of give her boundaries and borders of where she could take me and not take me. Truth of the matter is, really, she took me everywhere. I was exposed to a lot at an early age. So this wasn't a journey of guess what I want to do, uh,
Gotcha.
like many startup businesses. One year, this is what I'm going to do, and the switch is turned on. No, this was something I was kind of slowly introduced at the age of 9.
Uh,
So for most people, especially in the context of young people today, they're kind of sitting at home. Their social interactive
Yeah.
skills are not really like it used to be, because you had to go outside and engage. So most kids now can engage on their PlayStation or Xbox, or
Right. Yeah.
they're on social media to
Right.
digest a lot. So
Yeah.
there wasn't any escapism for us in that capacity back then. So we had to be out, and to be out, you not only keeping your eyes on the swivel, but older kids was also building you up. So there wasn't a time for being bullied and putting your head down and fold, because somebody was literally going to come up to you and test you, or
Right.
test your hands, or you walking and it's an older dude that but that punch comes straight to your chest, and you're like, I didn't even do anything to you. And it's
Right.
like, just because the way you
Yeah.
looking at it, and all of a sudden you realize you had this exterior came on, that if you wanted to go outside, then you were gonna have to do your extra push-ups, do whatever it was. And it didn't mean that you were gonna win all those fights, but you were damn sure gonna get your hands a lot better than they started. And
Right.
that's an absolute. So going through that process, I say there were some older guys that were really, it just really thought the world of my sister. So I was always her little brother. So they treated me like their little brother. And the truth of the matter is, how they put me on in the game in tears. I learned a lot. I learned a lot what not to do, and I learned what I should do and why I shouldn't do certain things. And it was very, very impactful for me, and things that I keep to this day, because not only their transparency of the business, their transparency of the ugliness, their transparency of the possibilities, of the whys, the do's, the don'ts, um, but also they were very protective of me, because I was really a young kid. But at the end of the day, I knew my parents, they worked so hard. And at the end of the day, we were still in a situation where I was like, damn, why are we not on welfare? Because you ain't even home, and and the lights are turned off, and it's real cold in the winter. So I understood all of those that different scenario. And that kind of gave me this other light that said, I'm willing to see what it is out here, because if the money is the key is the money, and I want to see how I get to it. The journey about that, though, was the ugliness that came with it.
Yeah.
um, and doing things in a wrong way. I quickly learned from losing people around me and so forth, or having an opportunity to make a deal with one person but not bringing in my other dude, that it created such a dissension of negative energy, losing lives, really over no money. And so when people say you make your first $1 million, yeah, but you know what? People don't have a concept. Nothing is all yours. It is a part group of people, and the majority of the time, when we're so young and so influenced by the possibilities and potential of an opportunity, for whatever right, what that means,
Right.
because most people believe if you have enough money, that makes you good, and
Right.
it doesn't. Don't make your spirit good,
That's
and it
right.
doesn't help your family to be safe.
That's
And then
right.
you keep looking over your shoulder this way, that way, and all of a sudden it doesn't put you in a healthy mind state. And so going through that process was a very tough one. Um, it's I would have really kind of really say it could be looked at as gambling. You
Yeah.
people
Right.
get high when it's going good, and
Yeah.
all of a sudden you bottom right out. And
Right.
so, say if you want to play poker, as anyone who wants to play poker, it's a skill game, it's a mindset game, it's also understanding what the opponents and the people at the table are. But at the end of the day, they say if you want to really come play poker, you better come with 3 bullets, because and 3 bullets is the interpretation of buy in for $200, make sure you can do it 3 to 4 times, at least for that day, and then you'll know where you stand. And so even in the game, you can't come in like, well, I have this certain amount, so that puts me on, because all of a sudden what was there today is gone tomorrow, and how
Right.
you going to start, as they
Right.
say, how you going to get your re-up, right?
Right.
So 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 I was really, really fortunate in that instance that, a lot of bullets flew. Sometimes you also see a lot of your friends that you hold dear to yourselves. They're also the ones that all of a sudden the friendship becomes really tainted,
Mm,
really hostile, and it becomes sad. And
mm,
so we're all looking to escape some part of a financial scenario, a create a peaceful environment or something better
yeah.
aspiring to. And
Mhm.
I had to realize, and I understood it didn't matter. So I have a different perspective in a way that I look at money. Money is very useful, but
Yeah,
also it can be a very dangerous tool if
definitely.
not used to barter and do what you need to. But if this the end all be all, man, it can be a very, very ugly situation because it can't replace the peace of mind. It cannot replace the people you love,
Mhm.
and whatever dream that you're aspiring really to go towards and do. If you don't have the foundation of people that can allow you to still sleep on their couch
Right.
when they're not, when that dream is still falling short,
Mhm.
and then when you do get there, you understand how important it is. It has substance. It
Mhm.
means so much more, and it's not something that you want to frivolously just be like, well, I did it this time, I can do it again.
Yeah,
throwing
definitely.
throwing arrogance and bringing a sense of entitlement into a space where it's not about that, you
Yeah.
know. So I think that a lot of us were in these situations because we realize what it could be, as we all were told about this American dream.
Yeah.
But what is that? And but the spiritual American dream is something that has nothing to do with money at all, but more of our spiritual wellness, as well as the education of ourselves and our loved ones, and passing that on to our kids so they can have a compass, a direction of integrity, a direction of self-worth, and a direction of understanding that all people that they meet, they have an opportunity to create an environment,
Mhm.
not I can't wait to be in a clique,
Yeah.
not because, oh, these people got their own circle.
Mhm.
No, you actually are creating a wellness society for yourself when
Yeah.
we start doing the work. So I always look at it, and I look at it, and I'm thankful because I feel like I have lived many lives.
Mhm.
When I look at that one as a young man, he was a young man that was very, under the gun by
Mhm.
so many emotions, and in my environment, because, at 4 years old, 5 years old, I'm watching cats that are alive and as vibrant as you or myself today, and they're dying right in front of me. Their t-shirts, their t-shirts are white and they turn red and they keep spreading red, and
Yeah.
they fall on my doorstep and they die. Or I just, when the bullets go, I just put my head down in the car and wait till, it
Yeah.
sounds like it's over. And
Yeah.
so to go through that constant scenario, as we talk about traumas and we talk about PTSD, I think this was an average and a norm in my upbringing growing up in the Bronx. And I think when you do grow up in New York City, it's not about claiming a borough. You
Yeah.
actually get to know the intricate nooks and cranny of every borough, especially if
Mhm.
you're a young kid who wants to go out and play sports or do whatever. We're always interconnected, and it takes time for you to realize, like, to start a beef, I have a fight. You might not see him today, but give it a
But you
little
good.
time. You're gonna see him
Exactly.
tomorrow,
Right.
and that's
Yeah.
whoever that is.
Yeah. Fact.
So
Yeah.
you learn over that time. It's not about getting over. It's not about, a quick fix today,
Mhm.
um, but also the effects of our actions and how that brings a cause and effect that we have to live with. I've seen so many of my close friends, even as a young kid, as I share this with you, and I've shared it before, come to me like, hey, it's the beginning of the boom of crack. Hey, I need that.
Mhm.
You need what? You a superstar basketball player. You about to go to Seton Hall. You about to do things like, I look up to you. I'm like, you're my dude.
Mhm.
And I ain't for me. For a little shorty, you know what I'm saying? I said,
Yeah.
man, this is not. this is not what you really want to do. Just not what you want to do. I'm telling you, because I'm seeing how they coming back. They leaving looking like Jennifer Lopez, and in 2 weeks, they gone.
That's crazy.
And so that kind of ramification, even as a young man, and to see my buddy then come back 10 minutes, and I said, damn, got you.
Yeah.
And so as a young person who doesn't have the right perspective of his actions and how that reverberates and what that does, I can also justify the sickness of, if you ain't gonna get it from me, you're gonna go up 6 more blocks and get it from somebody else. So have at it if that's what it is. And even in that relationship, we got to see each other because he ended up derailing the basketball career. I'll just say his name. I won't say his last name. My boy Craigo, as we know him, derailed his basketball career. Ended up, hustling, robbing, and then went away to jail, did some time. And I remember they were like, "Yo, Craigo getting out." I said, "He getting out? What?" And I had stopped all my other
Yeah.
stuff between all of that
Yeah.
because there's a lot of funerals.
Yeah. So it's kind
And
of like the Earl Manigault story.
man, listen. So it was interesting. So I went to see him because he was in the hospital. I said, he in the hospital. So they let him out the hospital because he was having bad stomach issues. But the truth of the matter is he has stomach cancer now.
Wow.
So that turned into it. So they released him from his sentence. And so it was always a catch-22. And of course, it's a huge part of my own personal film that I'm looking to do and get done. That's already written. But when I went in there, I remember there was a playoff game going on, and I was like, yo, it's good to see you. Everything turned gray between all the cancer. I mean, he's still very young, in his 20s. I said, damn, he had to use these glasses, really couldn't see. It was on him strong. And I said, yo, there's a game on TV. Want to catch the game? You know what I'm saying? He was like, and this is a person who never walked anywhere without a basketball.
Mhm.
He said, nah, man, I'm good. I don't even think about basketball no more. And that blew me away, hurt me. And I said, all right. We chilled, we hung out, we talked about times and days. And then I said, yeah, I'm gonna come back and see you tomorrow. And I had to leave at certain times because it was very, very painful for him to pass the bowels. And I would give him that space, and I'd be like, all right, so back in the morning. He's like, I said, I can stay through the night. He said, no, I want you to stay tomorrow. So when I left him, a few hours later, he had passed away. But I knew even when he said tomorrow, he really meant it was done. But I just don't want you to stay through the night. And I understood it.
Yeah.
I understood it. I understood it in different phases for few different people that I had lost in that capacity. And so that passion that that I found in acting and artistry, and bringing different other people's stories to life. And sometimes people are like, man, how do you go there when it's so heavy, when it's so intense? And I say, because all the people that I've loved that have transitioned or even have taken their last breath with me, it means so much. So it's always not even a year ago or 15. It's always as if it's right in that moment in that day. So it's always in my pocket. And so I try and honor that. I try and teach the young kids and young hustlers, like, I have so much respect for hustlers everywhere because people don't understand that work.
Yeah.
People don't understand that it sound cute when they're like, I did this and I did that. You don't understand what that work is. That work is staying out and not coming out till 4 or 5 o'clock back then, because if you were out early, the boys were putting a case on you because they could see your face. Now they
Facts.
can take a picture of you any time of day and night.
Facts. Yeah.
And then,
Facts.
and then you working through the night to 10 in the morning to go to sleep, because I dropped out of school because it looked like this is my life. And I made a choice that I'm going to live and die with this.
Mhm.
And then I realized while everybody else was dying, I was like, maybe this is not the choice.
Yeah.
And so where does it go? What becomes important? What becomes a journey of substance? And so me turning to the arts and me having someone my mentor who introduced me to the arts. She
Yeah.
changed my life. She saved my life.
'Cause
Man.
I read that too. You said you wasn't even interested in the arts at all. So how did
Mm-mm.
that come about? So what made that happen?
So I had got kicked out of Walton High School in the Bronx.
Mm.
You know, think when I was there, Malik Sealy was there playing ball and whatnot, and I got into it right into my freshman year with some cats, and it got extra. These are the years of our 5%er journeys, and 5%er nation, and so I got kicked out of that school, and I got sent to a last alternative school in between because I'm living a very different life. And I said, that's why I said I was introduced at 9, but it was a process. There's a process of, I just want you to pay attention and look out because you love to play in the streets so much. So when they coming down the block.
Facts.
Absolutely. That was just a little money here. What? But then it was also like, damn, where your sis at? What's good with her? And then it would be like, they would always take me under my wing. So even when they knew that something was about to get hot, they'd be like, come here, and I'd be like, all right, whatever, and they'd be like, let me tell you, this is what you need to do. This is what you need not to do. And this is why. And I'd be like, once I was at that place and they could feel that energy, well, I'm standing here and I'm too young to do something, but I got to have something because everything's going on around me. I'm standing, staring and sleeping in a house, you know what I'm saying, with army the army blankets on, and but those times, the infestations of rats and mice, when it's on your bed and you trying to move and not move and hope it get off your bed. But that's my reality. So I'm grateful. So when I talk the Bronx, I talk Castle Hill, I talk Edenwald Project, I talk every single nook and cranny in Mars Hill and Forest Projects, because those are also the places that I will also spend the night on the floor. So there's not a place that I'm not comfortable being in the world, but I'm also grateful for the journey because I have to have appreciation for the people who also looked out. People also took the time and say, you're going the wrong way.
Yeah.
You're doing a whole lot of nothing right now. I remember my boy Willie Will on the block. He had went away to Miami for a while, and I had to be 15 at the time.
Mm.
And I had something on me. I had heat on me. I had a bunch of stuff on me, and it was wrong. And the cops, they were coming from everywhere. And I dove it, and he lived on the first floor. Window says, Mama always kept the first floor window open, and she was heavy into Yoruba, the religion. Flew my ass through that window. I knew he wasn't there, but I flew my ass through that window, closed it. And Malik, and she starts speaking Spanish, and she go off of me. You gotta stop. You can't be doing this. And I'd be like, and I'm like, I hope I could just sit here for 15 minutes and everything is good, and she don't just kick my ass out. But
Yeah.
she didn't do any of that. She always just loved me, you know what I mean, and talked to me even more. And this is a woman, who ankles would be super swollen and legs be swollen, working all day long to take care of Willie Will and Davi, her sons. And so as the transformation of me being inspired by the arts, I also fell in love with the opportunity, like, please come watch me do a play, please, and people would show up, people would show up. And so, it's really not about whatever I've accomplished, because I honestly haven't accomplished anything. I've been fortunate enough to be supported and thought about by many. And also the phenom of the film, of the project, The Temptations, with Leon and Christian Payton and Teron Brooks and D.B. Woodside and all these brothers, Chaz and Gina Rivera, all these phenomenal people, and our girl Ross. Um, um, it was all these people. It's a culmination and thankfulness of Suzanne, the past, but also if it wasn't for Jackie Brown, who casted, who believed in me, and who pushed when NBC and Universal was like, he's cool, he's all right, but we need a name. And so most people always are caught up in the meme that goes on.
Exactly.
ain't nobody come to see you, Otis. But most people don't understand, and I drop it of my appreciation for Leon, my appreciation for Tehran, Christian, DB, all the guys, because when I was the main choice before we ever started rehearsing, I then became not the choice because they wanted to see where they can get a bigger name as it went on. And so they had to come full circle after I left Hollywood. And was like, send me back to the Bronx. You know, it's something interesting when you ain't got nothing to lose.
Yeah.
You ain't standing to play that game. And I was like, I'm okay with that. And so if it wasn't for all these gentlemen literally in the room with all the execs saying, well, if it ain't him, then let's just end it and we all going home. And I only came back out on that time, I think, with just a pair of clothing, and I never came back.
They came back.
So that's the magic of how it goes. And so the platform of entering that scenario, you know, in details, of course, I'm able to explain that even more, you know, even in my own film. But it's not one that I've ever been proud of. But I think that we all live in so many circumstances where so many people's lives are derailed for 25 years. I have a lot of friends derailed for 25 years, 30 years, doing that life sentence. And in an instant, that could either be me or not here.
Yeah.
So I'm fortunate, and I don't take it for granted. You know, the streets will raise you to be tough, but you realize that no matter how tough you are, you're not tough. You're just trying to survive, because there's always somebody tough or another situation. So we submit to understanding that there's just a greater source. And if we're not connected to the spiritual journey, and we connected to the material journey, well, guess what? We really not gonna make it.
Oh yeah, definitely. Fact. Hey, he's preaching. Hey, listen, yeah. Mr. Charles Malik Whitfield is preaching, yeah. Dropping them Jews. So let me ask you this, Malik.
Yes.
I saw that, I think you said your first role was in Law and Order in 1992, even though it was a small part. How did that feel like being on I guess the professional set for the first time?
Yeah, actually, you know what? It actually wasn't my first. I think one of my first films, I think I did Night in the City with Robert De Niro and Jessica Lange. And playing a little boxer, ended up Sidney Lumet, the great Sidney Lumet, was directing. And he's just a legend in the film world. And he was a lot older, he was in his 80s probably then, I don't know. 70s.
Nervous?
Huh?
Was you nervous?
No. Hungry. There's a difference between hungry and I need it. You know, and I think that even as so many other kids, and I work with artists and actors. I've been working with them over 20 years. And I work with them more importantly because if you don't have the wherewithal to afford being at UCLA, being at USC, being at the intensive acting courses, or being at, you know, the RADA or wherever it is, that I was fortunate because I was able to study with Uta Hagen. I studied years, and they gave me the opportunity to mop floors and put cards in the secretarial journey and do all the little paperwork with Herbert Berghoff. And the phone calls were made for me to go train at Lee Strasberg because I could not afford any of that. I couldn't afford it. I couldn't even afford to order the class. But they gave me the opportunity to not only be there and study the technique and study the Stanislavski. And I went on to study Meisner. You pick and choose all these other different things which, you know, you identify with. And so it became important for me to also make sure I could do that with people who may not have the wherewithal to do that, but are really, really serious about it. So when I got that first role, like so many, there's an urgency. We all have an urgency, but you can also learn. Most people don't really get this, and I'm going to say this. Most people don't really get this. They think that if you're there, that journey is putting you on. And the truth of the matter is we all lose so much because if you sit down and you listen to your elders, or if you listen to someone where you want to be, that is an elder speaking about their journey and the mastering of where what is needed in order to survive and be on a continuation platform going, longevity, not short term. If you just listen, their journey just became yours.
Facts.
But
That's,
most people think it's about theirs only. And
that's
so
deep.
what was so phenomenal about Herbert Berghoff is that, and I love the day and the aspect. I can sit here, speak to you. I didn't have to go meet with you and go in your spot and blah, blah, blah. Right? So
Yeah.
back then, if you were working on material, you were working on, Streetcar Named Desire and all these great pieces, well, you had to show up. You had to
Right.
get to class. And guess what? There were 30 other people waiting to show him the scene too, so he
Yeah.
could help dissect it and help tighten you up. And so you might not go up. You might go up once in that month if you're lucky. And you want to make it, you want to be impactful. You want to be on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in between it, he's giving and telling and giving all these jewels that you realize his jewels of what he's giving is even more valuable than you getting up. Now, how you want to apply it, the application of how you apply it can be each and everyone's different ability.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you gotta stay in the box and then learn when you can dance out the box.
That's deep. Hey, that's deep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was my first journey as a young boxer. And before then, my real first professional journey in '89, I think it was '89 or something, was I was playing I got a commercial, my first commercial, Wendy's with Dave Thomas. And I
Exactly.
went on to do quite a few Dave Thomas commercials. And my mentor, I couldn't afford to join the union. I remember also that time because you can do a certain amount, but then after that you have to join the union.
Mm,
Um, and she paid for me. This woman paid for me to join the union.
mm,
This woman took me to the stage so I can see people perform and see cats and see the Broadway shows, see
mm,
people who look like me. And at that time, if you're thinking about the time that I'm talking about, there were only about 2 or 3 or 4
right.
African American men that you can look to. And Brian Gumble is one of them.
Mm.
So she would speak to me because when I'm excited, people know I'm from the Bronx. But if I'm not, they're like, I don't know where you're from, right? But she said you have to pay attention, study these people, right? Because they're giving you information. Because right now, I really want to make sure that you're commercial so you can have longevity in this business. I'm like, oh shit, we're gonna do commercial like Coca-Cola. And
No, no, wait a minute, what?
and like, no, it just sounds like you are specifically from this area. And if we can help give you the flexibility from anywhere, it's also going to give you more opportunities. And
Mm.
so you have to see how people see you at a glimpse notice and then work with that, but then change it later. So I had to do all the purse snatching and I actually did I remember back in the days I did America's Most Wanted. I'm going back home and
Oh,
it's like,
wow.
that's him.
John
That's
Wall.
him. I did this reenactment, and I'm like, maybe I shouldn't have did that one, but it was paying $350. I needed
I
that.
needed that. I'm
You
John
know?
Walsh.
Yeah.
Remember that. So let me ask you this, Blake. So you touched on this. So I want to say this first off. Like, I am the spokesperson for 2 shows in particular, The
Okay.
Wire and The Temptations. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have watched all of those millions of times. I could quote every line in The Temptations. So you had the leading role in the Emmy-winning miniseries, The
Yes.
Temptation. My favorite thing. He was nominated for an NAACP Image Award. So you touched on it a little bit, but how did that role come about for you? And I know that was life changing. And like, how was it just
How
playing?
did that come about?
Yes, how did it come about for you? And how was it like just being on set every day playing that role?
So, hmm. So I was up for my mentor who was working with a bunch of other students who went on and graduated, went to SUNY Purchase, other places. She had this little company that would still go to tour and do group homes and so forth and whatever. And so in between that, I was still free to come and go whenever I want, but I was still very committed on trying to make money. Because I still would show up at school. Because there was really not much to do during the day. I had sweet spots of how it flowed for me. And so in between that, most of the time, I mean, I was not necessarily present as I need to be because I'm up all night. And so I had an opportunity for a film that somebody said, I think you're perfect for. And I think you'd be great, blah, blah, blah. Went, met. I had read or whatever. And that movie was New Jack City.
Mm.
So the incredible Alan Payne played that role. Just
Back.
impeccable. And Wesley, who also lived off 183rd and Crescent, he was down the block from me, so I would see him all the time because, like I said, I was on every block.
Yeah.
So he's phenomenal. So years went on, and before the Temptations, we were talking 97, 98. So in 97, this phenomenal, and I can't forget his name because it's not often that people will do it. His name is Peter Kerr, director, dope, from London. George, the producers from one passed away. It's been a second, but the producers of New Jack City are looking to do New Jack City 2. And so I went and I'm ready for that. Of course, this is my old wheelhouse. This is, so it's, you're kind of not reaching for a lot.
Yeah.
And so Wesley chose he's not doing New Jack City 2. And so I read for it, boom, boom, boom. And I kept coming back. Jackie Brown was casting it. And so it was so interesting. He was like, I went back in one last time and he was like, you're my guy. You're my dude. This is what we doing. Man, I was like, let's make this happen. So he had to clear me with the studios with 20th Century Fox at the time. They were not having it. They said, we need a name in the role. There's a certain list. They had their own list. You can choose from him, and him. I'm not going to say it. You could even figure out the list. Ice-T was even still in that list, right? He was still on that list. And he's phenomenal. What an exceptional being. That man is exceptional. Right. So out of that, so Peter Kerr said, well, put the names around him. He said, we're not going to make him a star. We're just not. And so he said, if I don't have him, you don't got the movie because he wrote it. And so they said, here's what we'll do. We'll fly him out to California. He'll screen test all the other names that we want. So I went to work. and I went to work. And so I had this screen test, of course, for the studio. And so long story short, and I respected it, still respected it. I said, we're still not going to make him a name. He might have been better than everybody. And he was.
That's crazy.
We're not going to make him a name. So the screen test of my thing floated in the studio. And that's what was presented to Suzanne DePass. And they said, he's your dude to play the Temptations. So when it came to me, I said, I'm not a singer. I mean, you got all that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I might hold a note. I'm going to mess a note up, but that's not me. Like, I'm here to go put this work in and I'm going to get these movies, right? And so that was my mindset, right? And so also Susan DePass was like, I don't think he's the right dude either. Because, when this screen test, he murdering people. This dude is not, he's just not, that's not what we want. This guy's not, this guy's something different. And she goes, and this was Jackie Brown. She goes, but you have to meet him. Just meet him. So they flew me out. And once they met me, they were like, oh my God. Right. So I had to, so all they needed me to do was just read a couple scenes with the guys. uh, um, and for the network to just sign off so we can get to work.
Mm.
And that's when the part where they would refuse and go, well, we can get a bigger name.
Yeah.
And so that journey started. And so I was like, man, so you're gonna, so we good, let's go. And then it was like, well, hold on. And then, everybody was trying to be politically correct. And I was like, man, get the fuck out of here. Let me skip. Fuck, I ain't waiting here. Like you, I know you niggas is like, so that hit me like I'm out, yo. So so I went back home, and then it was a month, and then they called me later at night and was like, hey, and I was like, hey, what? Like, they was like, well, look, the more they went through people and the names, we realized we needed to come back to there is nothing coming close. That's what the conversation was. Yeah. And so they were very kind in the way in which I needed something from them, and they gave it. And it wasn't hard what I needed, but I needed to hear it. Yes, we're cool. Then I got back on the plane, went out there, and that's why I literally went with one pair of clothes. But I didn't come back.
Never look back.
Never look back.
Let me ask you this, Malik, too. So the famous line, ain't nobody covered to see you, Otis. That's the worldwide thing. That's just everything. So I saw an interview with DJ Bly. He interviewed Leon, and he said you did not like that line. He said you was mad. He improvised that line. He said he was mad. He said the director came to him, was like, hey, he ain't like the line. And he was like, but you see the reaction I got. So did you not like the line?
No, so now you get a greater understanding. Like Leon's brilliance is wonderful. I hold him dear. He's a sweetheart. So I've trained with Uta Hagen, Herbert Berghoff, Ash Strasberg, with all a bunch of the greats. When I come to work, I only come to work. None of it's personal. So me being in character, myself in character, I don't turn off the character. Right. So, but what I do know is that, and I mean, someone just asked me not that long ago, it's like, because he was like, all right, so I heard this and I heard that. And did Leon create, like, he ad-libbed that and he created that and said that? I said, truth of the matter is, I can't tell you. He might have. But truth of the matter is, most people don't know, myself and DB also rewrote some scenes in that film because they fell short. And we wanted to make sure they tighten up. And all the gentlemen, all of the guys only made it better for us. And truth of the matter is, I would have never been even able to, and I always say this, because you have to pay homage and respect to the truth. And if I wouldn't have been able to learn not one dance step if it wasn't for the gentleman who played Paul, Christian Payton, because I was already behind the 8 ball while they were a month and so in rehearsals. And so all of a sudden I had to come in, and a week and a half, two from filming. And I'm trying to learn all these songs and all of this and all these dance routines. And that brother would stay with me at night, and I record our rehearsals. And so I look at it, and when I plug it into the beta thing, plug it into the TV, and I'm looking at it. So I learned them backwards. He recorrect me, so I just look at it as Leon's wonderful genius. I just think that he's a supernova of a talent, as I do for Tehran and all the guys. And what was so important to me, which struck me most important while we were doing the film, because we were originally supposed to do 12 hours. And simply put, the word was, no one wants to watch a story about 5 black men for 12 hours. That's the word. So we went to 10 hours. Then we were cut to 8. And then we were cut to 6. Then we were cut to 4. Right? So these things happen, right? And in business aspect, you can take it as a personal thing, but as a business, somebody business-wise, when people start talking they analytics now, wherever that came from, may behoove them. They're like, that's better movement, right? For the series, and that's fine. So what we realized, and what I realized halfway through, good quarter of the way, when I brought the guys together, I said, hey guys, I need all of us to get together right now. I want us to take the moment right now while we work hard, because I believe in no matter how hard and how amazing the work we did today, forget about it. It's gone. Let's find the magic tomorrow. But in this instant, none of us, and I didn't grow up like many other people, because I'm telling you, I grew up very different as in my youth.
Yeah.
So I wasn't influenced or overwhelmed by hearing the music of the Temptations at all.
Mm.
But I was impassioned to tell a story. And so I realized while we're here, us as a group of men, man, we have to not only cherish this, not only we pay respects to the people who have passed away, but even in that instant, did they know that they would be affecting generations to come, and their lives and their stories would be so impactful. And we have to give that all the grace and that all the praise, and also their entire families that people don't speak about, because this is the honor, and this is where we go from here. All of these years later, even when people talk about it, it's because of the Temptations that even young people look at me and go, hey, right? Because they've been fortunate enough to play these years.
Yeah,
But this film now is in 26 years ago.
that's crazy. I ain't
Right.
been that long.
Right. So that's context. And when I think of the great Oba Babatunde who played Berry Gordy, and these wonderful people who give so much, and I think of Julia Stiles, and I think of our costume lady, they all won Emmys.
Mm.
We were up for the Golden Globes. Hopefully at some particular point I may be there. But I do know that when the camera came on and everybody was called on the phone, because we want hot with the cell phones like that.
Yeah.
It was like, yo, you want the Golden Globes, dude? You nominated for Golden Globe. And I'm like, I know it's dope, right? But we were not invited.
Yeah, that's
See,
crazy.
because deals go on in that room. And so you have to learn the process of, should you feel a particular way? Or should you be begrudging? Should you be, should that steal away the joy of what is? No, we celebrate that in all its completeness. And we know that I celebrate all of the guys. I celebrate Leon's I really, I'm looking forward, hopefully, to maybe me and Leon doing something together on the
Yeah,
side of myself. And bringing guys, because there's so much talent that we don't get to see, we
yeah.
don't get to dance with, but I honor, I'm so honored, for the time that I have got to spend. And if I'm just lucky enough to spend some more time, and if it ain't on camera, it's off camera.
Mm.
And so those are the moments I cherish, that narrative, being in the room with good people.
Did you I guess I know you probably met the real Otis Williams when you played him. Did you get to study him a lot?
I got to make quick study of him.
Mm.
And I was thankful for all the other people that I was raised by, including my sisters and my parents, because, you got to understand, when you make a film like this, it's not about what you say, it's about what you can't say.
Mm.
And so you got to read in between the lines on a lot of things. But knowing Otis, the O, because he called me to this day. He was like, "What up, O?" I'm like, and I'm humbled. Honestly, I'm humble when people call me Otis. I'm grateful, thankful,
Yeah.
honored. Um, and that man is just, his heart is something so special that I'm so thankful for his every moment. He's still out performing.
Yeah, man.
In his late years, he's still looking great. And when I speak to him, his joy is infectious. And I just, I'm just grateful. So quick study, but also understanding, my journey is to stay in my lane.
Mm.
My journey is not to live in everybody else's lane. And
Yeah.
I respect that. And I try and be mindful of respecting other people's lane in all aspects of the business, because it is a collaboration. So I didn't do anything special without anyone else that's special. Like, it's a squad up, top to top to bottom, because people will look and be like, well, no, everyone, every single person
Yeah.
gave such a phenomenal detail that you realize. I mean, honestly, because they'll tell you this in life, but it doesn't feel like it because people always want to be front and center.
Yeah.
But there are no small roles,
Nope.
but great people. Um, this just it's just endless, and I'm forgetting my buddy, who I'm so proud of. He had just got married last year. Oh my God, can't be forgetting him. Richard played one of our Temptations and
Oh yeah,
Charles.
Richard. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, because he was on Buffy, the Vampire Slayer, and all his other shows, and he's just so dynamic. I'm proud of him. He's directing a lot of the series now, and I'm just elated for him. Like sometimes you get to be in front of the camera and you be like, this is what I have to do, and that's my job right now. And sometimes my job is to stand right to the side and be your cheerleader. Stop, keep pushing you on, and so that's what we all have to do. There's no job too small and no job too big that we can't get done.
Yeah, we learned that in school too. They taught us that in film school. Like there are no small roles. So let me ask you this. On your journey, what would you say has been your greatest challenge?
Saying no.
Mm,
I can't say yes to everything.
mm,
Um, I've been really blessed with a family that has lifted me beyond my wildest imaginations. I have a sister. She's like we call her my twin. I've had those moments where I'm crying and I'm just like, so what's the point? I've had these moments where I'm screen testing for a movie and I'm like, well, me? Why would I be screen? As a young man, I'm screen testing Lawrence Fishburne, Blair Underwood's here. You know, but it takes us moments to understand that don't let our spirits be broken because we're not where we would like to be, but where God is placing us is where we should be.
mm,
And when we realize, like even now, I'm only here for 13 more days, dog. I
mm,
got 13 more days to live.
mm,
So why would I want to waste it not spending some good time with some good people and enjoying the company that I want to? Because we only are here for a short second. So we might as well make it as memorable and enjoyable, but pass our good deeds on to our loved ones and our family and
mm,
keep rocking on. There ain't nothing to put our head down about, but keep our head up. And when we start realizing that, don't pop the champagne. Don't pop the champagne because something great happened.
mm,
When it gets uncomfortable, pop the champagne and smile because you're breaking up to a whole nother level. Because now the challenge is on. And that has to be a different way of looking at things. Don't ride the highs so you don't hit the lows. Just keep moving.
oh, man, I like it. It's crazy to hear you say that because the things that you are saying is how I live my life right now. Like no matter what a compliment I get and everything. Like I was just nominated for a Hollywood Music Award. I
Come
don't
on.
want a film festival award, but I just still be like, keep it pushing, like and
Yeah.
it's to this point, like, is it? I'm done, like so what you're saying resonates with me, a lot. So I want to ask you also, what advice would you give to, I guess, anyone coming up in the industry, whether it's an actor, film writer, director, because you've been doing it a long time. So what advice would you give them?
Just know that anything that you dream and you want to accomplish in this industry, you absolutely can. And once you accomplish it, you have to remember, well, now you got to do it again. And so there becomes levels and standards of good, bad, better growth. And so in between that process, it'll service you how it needs to. There is no one answer that services. If it services you to pay the bills, if it services you to take care of the kids, if it services you to get the kids to school, do it.
Mhm,
Do it gratefully, do it gratefully, do it gratefully. And
mhm,
most important, I think that kills so many people in this industry is, and it's not easy because your ego can help push you somewhere,
mhm,
but your ego can also kill your possibilities.
mhm,
Leave your ego out the game, and most importantly, while you're coming through and you're going up, when you have a moment, and I'm not saying that because most people's perspective and perception is, if you did this, now you good, so you should do that. That's not true. Most artists have to realize, like, this job that you got that is so sensational is going to have to last and pay for your rent or your bills for an entire year, including food, insurance, all that stuff. And so hold on to your finances as best as you can. Don't try and live that whole I'm gonna live my life to the fullest today. I can't stand it.
I tell people that all the time.
Stand it. I can't stand it. You only got one life. Let's go. No, don't YOLO it. Do not YOLO it. Your job is to know that you have journey and the goals and benchmarks on continuing. But if you don't allow yourself that opportunity, then you'll find yourself in situations that with less options. And all we want, really, it doesn't matter if it's this industry or whatever industry, we just want to have some better options and hopefully be in a room with some good people, some kind people. Defer, because there's so much I don't know. I'm learning every day. But if I'm able to defer to someone, man, how fortunate am I? I don't want to figure it all out. I want to figure out a few things, but I also like to go to sleep so I can go a little harder even tomorrow and stay on point. So that's what I say to anyone aspiring to do anything, is just keep it moving, be kind, because you'll find yourself in a room with, as I asked De Niro this when I was doing that film. Man, I gotta get it. You know what I'm saying? That's the common. That's the 101. It's almost like 101 agent. Hey kid, you're gonna make it. Just get ready. You're like, I'm ready. Was the phone working? Yeah, keep staying ready, kid. So all you want to do, honestly, at the end of the day, just end up in a room full of survivors. Just survive. Just survive. And honor the relationships. Good business, kind business is better business than the greatest talent in the world. That's it.
Hey, listen, y'all. Charles Malik has dropped so many jewels in this interview, man. The people gonna love this. Look, before we get out of here, though, do you have anything coming up that you want to promote that you got going on?
Yeah, I got this movie that dropped in the beginning of the new year. We're still on video on demand. The Bastard Sons. I'm really proud of Still Here with my girl V Bozeman. I'm really proud of my girl Erica Mena with Picture Me Dead. Those on the platform of Tubi. The other ones on platform of Apple, Bastard Sons, and so forth. And what's to come, I cannot and will not say. But what I will say is you're going to get the first exclusive. And you're going to be very excited about it. It's special. But that's all I'm going to say. And you don't even know how special it is.
I feel great, y'all. I feel truly blessed.
but it's going down. And, the projects, like I say, the projects don't matter as much as the people, but hopefully we can also do some content that is received at its highest level. And that's what we're looking to do.
Listen, Mr. Charles, listen up. I'm manifesting you're going to be in one of my films. We're going to make it happen. Remember I said that?
Yes, indeed.
Let's get it.
It's so, like I told this young man, he was like, man, I'm trying to graduate out of USC, and I want you to do my short film. And I know you ain't got no time. And I was like, if not you, why not you? Why you?
Facts. You got to believe it, manifest it.
And so this is how we're going to end the show. So we'll pick it up later. And he said, well, what are you trying to shoot? He said, man, what you scared? I said, man, the weekends. Let's shoot on the weekend. Right? that's that I know I can still figure out. So I shot a few weekends, and I ended up doing another one with him. And I mean, he was just exceptional young man, and he still is an exceptional young man. And that young man is Ryan Coogler.
Look at that. Look at
So,
that.
so it'll only be a pleasure and an honor on your film. And why not you? If not you, why not you?
I love that, Mr. Charles.
All
Let
right.
them know where they can find you at, man. Let them know where they
You
can.
can find me on Instagram, Malik Whitfield. Other than that, no, I'm not on social media too hard. I try and jump in and out. But sometimes when people do leave messages and so forth, yeah, I get back to them, and sometimes people try and find out where I'm doing my acting classes, but I only work with a small group because I try and make sure I can give as much time as I can to the artist on 101 and making sure that I'm showing up, but also making sure they're being accountable and showing up as well. Um, so I might be doing that just for a little bit more time. Um, and I always say that, but there's a few artists that I love so much, and so they come to me even when they're working on a new TV show or whatever, and I'm like, all right. And I just want to help make sure that, we all always need constructive insight, for things or different fresh eyes on research, because it's a lot of the research that help us kind of stand on something.
Okay.
So and then any aspiring artists, they can hit me, do there as well, and then I'll give them the information that they can then go through the process.
All right. So, Mr. Malik, my last question that I love to ask all my guests: when it is all said and done, and you are long gone from this earth, what is it that you want the people to know about Charles Malik Whitfield?
There's only one thing that I want you to know. I'm damn sure not perfect, never gonna be, but may my good deeds be passed on to my kids. And whoever your kids are, may I've been as kind to them as I can be. And please let us continue the journey and create a path of humanity, compassion, empathy, and lifting up each other and support. That is it.
There you go, man. Thank you, Mr. Charles Malik Whitfield. I appreciate you
Thank
giving me
you.
this opportunity to spare with you. And I'm gonna let you know when I drop this article also.
I love it. Let me know.
All right. But look, hang on, hang
Great.
I would say hang tight for 1 second after I
Okay.
put this promo. I want to talk with you 1 quick second. All right, yeah. That was Charles Malik Whitfield.